In this video, we are discussing that how we can enable or disable a single entry or a double entry bookkeeping method system in Tally Prime or in Tally ERP 9. So what is the difference between single entry or a double entry bookkeeping method system? Single entry is a cash-based bookkeeping method that tracks incoming and outgoing cash in a journal, whereas a double entry system in which we have one debit and one credit, and the amounts recorded in a debit must be equal to the amount recorded in a credit. So how we can enable or disable this single entry or double entry method in Tally Prime or in Tally ERP 9. So first we can check this option in Tally Prime. In Tally, by default, this single entry bookkeeping system is enabled. So how we can change this single entry into a double entry method? For that purpose, you need to click on this vouchers, press enter, and here we have this option change method. So the short key is Ctrl H. So you can click this option change method, and here we have two modes or two methods. You can use a single entry also, or you can use a double entry. But by default, whenever you install a new software or if you create a new company in Tally Prime, this single entry mode is enabled. So here you can select this option, the double entry, if you want to use the double entry bookkeeping system in Tally Prime. So press enter. Now we have these two options here, which is to and by. Again, by default, instead of debit and credit, Tally is using to or by. So if you want to use debit and credit, you need to click on this configuration, which is F12, and here we have this option use credit and debit instead of to and by during voucher entry. So by default this option is no, so you need to press Y for yes to enable this option. So Ctrl A to save it. So this is how you can enable a double entry method or activate your debit and credit feature configuration setting in Tally Prime. Now we can configure the same double entry or debit and credit feature in Tally ERP 9. So for that purpose, you need to click here in this configuration. In this configuration, we have this voucher entry. So press enter, and here you can see the second option, which is use single entry mode for payment, receipt and contra voucher. So by default this is yes, because by default Tally is using a single entry method. So I'm gonna select this option no, and here we have this use credit and debit instead of to and by during an entry. So by default this option is no, so we want to use debit and credit also in Tally ERP 9. So you need to make this option yes, press enter, Ctrl A to save it. Now if you can check, you can go here in this transaction. Under the transaction we have accounting vouchers, press enter, and now look, we have double entry method is enabled and we are using debit and credit. So this is how we are configuring or enabling this double entry bookkeeping method system in Tally ERP 9 or in Tally Prime, and using this debit and credit feature. If you guys have any question related with this topic, you can ask your question in the comment section. We will reply you.